Hey there guys, it's Tina and I'm back. And it is time for a showdown. This is going to be a beauty battle of the Radiance boosters. Oh yeah. So in this video, I am pitting 4 beauty Radiance boosters up against each other. And we're gonna see which ones are the best. So in this lineup, we have the OG, the original Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This was the one that started it all. This product hit the market years ago. As I said, it's the OG. And when it debuted, it was truly ahead of its time. It was an innovative product that no one had ever experienced before. We weren't even quite sure what it did. It was just touted as this all-around product that you can use in any way you see fit. You can use it as a mixer with your foundation. You can use it as a primer because it gives a soft focus filtered finish. You can also use it as a spot highlighter. So we had fun with it. We discovered different ways to use it and people fell in love. And with that type of success, you're gonna for sure get dupes. And that is exactly what these 3 other brands have tried to do. And they're not the only ones doing it. We have a multiple brands debuting their version of this product. But these are the 3 we're focusing on. First up is the Auric Cosmetics Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer. And Auric Cosmetics was kind of the first brand to openly say they're trying to replicate what Charlotte Tilbury did with their Hollywood Flawless Filter, but they're gonna expand on it. They're gonna add different skin tone shades and make it a more versatile product. And that's what we got from Samantha Ravindal and her brand Auric Cosmetics. Then we have, of course, the dupe brand to dupe them all, e.l.f. Cosmetics. Of course they were gonna do it. If no one else was going to do it, they were going to do it. So they debuted their Halo Glow Liquid Filter. And I never truly jumped on the bandwagon when this originally launched because I was like, here they go. They're just trying to dupe the vibes. I never got into the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter because there was a single shade available. What's that gonna do for me? It's too shiny, it's too sparkly, it's too light for my complexion. But all of these brands now have a quite diverse shade range that can complement various skin tones. And e.l.f. Cosmetics has expanded their shade range to include more shades. So I finally got my hands on it. I'm testing out the dupe of them all, followed by, of course, Juvia's Place, which is a Black-owned brand. They said, hey, we're gonna toss our hat in the mix. We're gonna try our hands at this Radiance booster. And we're going to do shades that suit deeper, richer skin tones. And I was definitely excited to try this out. So we're gonna put these 4 brands up against each other. I have similar shades in all 4 brands. I, in fact, have 2 from Auric Cosmetics. I just went ahead and grabbed 2 because I wanted to try them out. They're online, they're indie, so it made sense during a sale just to pick up 2 of the shades, and I'm excited to try them out. So we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. I'm just going to talk you through the product, show you some up-close shots, and of course give you a demonstration, and then we'll get into the beauty battle portion of the video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and talk about these products, show you a demonstration, and get this beauty battle underway. So we're going to cover all of these products alphabetically, and I'm going to start out with the Auric Cosmetics Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer. This retails for $46.50 and contains 1.18 fluid ounce of product, or 35 milliliters. There's also a smaller travel size that retails for $28, and that one contains 0.5 fluid ounce, or 15 milliliters. It is available in 8 different shades, and you can purchase it on the Auric Cosmetics website or at Beautylish. And the product information says, this is a multi-use formula packed with skin-loving ingredients for instant hydration and radiance. For those who lust for luminosity, Auric Cosmetics Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer powder instantly enhances your skin with a natural glow. Packed with ultrafine pearls and a skin-loving blend of squalene, glycerin, and porcelain flour, this buildable formula effortlessly highlights, smooths, and hydrates your skin. Available in 8 flexible shades for all skin tones, wear it alone, mix it with your favorite skincare, or use it as a highlighter on top of your foundation to add a touch of radiance. Now I went ahead and picked up 2 different shades of the Auric Glow Lust. So I have Sunstone, which is the lighter of the 2 shades, and this one is described as medium neutral. So this is meant for medium skins with more neutral undertone. And then the deeper shade, which is really not that much deeper, it's just a different undertone, is Citrine. This one is described as medium warm. So it's meant for medium skin with warm undertone, and it's slightly more on the golden side compared to Sunstone, as you can see in the bottle. Now let's go ahead and apply these. I'm gonna start out with the lighter of the 2 shades, which is Sunstone, again described as medium neutral. And I'm just going to apply this directly to my skin using a Rose & Ben cream concealer brush. And I'm applying it similar to how I would apply a foundation product, because I want to see what it would look like if I wore it on its own. And this will also give you an idea of what your skin will look like if you use it as a primer or a base before your foundation. It definitely is more of a glowy product, but there is no discernible glitter or sparkle. You can tell that there's a pearlized finish, and this one is more on the champagne side because it has more of a neutral undertone. So you can see the difference on my skin. It definitely gives a discernible glow. And you can try to build this up, but it's not going to give you the same coverage as a skin tint or a foundation product, but it can even out your skin somewhat. And if you pair it with a concealer, you can definitely wear it on its own. For me, this is slightly too neutral. It just looks a little bit too ashy on my skin. Not that it's ashy, but it leans a little bit more silver champagne versus golden, which can stand out as stark on my skin that's a little bit more golden olive. So without the Glow Lust and with the Glow Lust, I think it looks great. It's not shiny and it doesn't feel heavy. It's more of a lightweight product. It does feel like a foundation on your skin, just a regular liquid foundation, not a runny one, a thicker one. Doesn't feel greasy. Feels great actually. So here you have it. This is the Auric Glow Lust in Sunstone. All right, now let's go in with Citrine, which is more of a warm tone shade, and you can definitely tell immediate swatch that this is a warmer tone, but it's not too yellow, not too orange. It in fact looks a little closer to a complexion product than Sunstone, and it's applying the same way and it feels great. This one is my preferred shade just because to me it looks closer to my actual skin tone, that I can wear it on its own and not feel like it's too shiny, and I can definitely wear this under foundation products. So here you have Citrine. Again, not overly shiny, not too greasy or dewy. It just looks like my skin with a radiant glow. Just an added shine, natural glow from my skin. And I feel like this doubles as a skincare product. So here you have Citrine from Auric Cosmetics. All right, next up we have the original, the OG Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This retails for $49 and it contains 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters. There is also a travel size that retails for $19. That one contains 0.18 ounce of product or 5.5 milliliters, and it is available in 12 different shades. And you can purchase this online directly through the Charlotte Tilbury website. It is also available at Sephora and Ulta, both online and in store. I have also seen it at Nordstrom and Bloomingdales, so you can check any other retailer that stocks Charlotte Tilbury. You'll be sure to find it there. And I'll read the details really quickly. It says this is a complexion booster that blurs, smooths, and illuminates for a real-life filter effect. Customize your glow with 4 ways to apply. Inspired by social media filters, Charlotte created this to be a confidence glow filter. It can be used as a tinted primer, under foundation, mixed with foundation, or as a highlighter on high points of the face. The light as air formula moisturizes for up to 24 hours while smoothing and visibly brightening skin for a radiant finish. It has finely milled powders which blurs lines and pores for a smoother, soft focus look. It has porcelain flower extract, which is a Thai flower derivative that visibly brightens and moisturizes skin. And it has glossy oil, which is a lightweight moisturizing oil that reflects and adds light where you need it. And for this one, I picked up shade number 6, Tan. This is described as a warm amber for tan to deep skin tones. So let's go ahead and apply this one, which now has a doe foot applicator instead of a pump. And I'm just going to pop that directly on my skin, one swipe. And again, we're going to blend it out using our brush. And I'll even go in with my finger. So this one is a little bit more lightweight and thinner than the Auric Glow Lust. I'll go in with a little bit more. So it definitely takes a little bit more product if you want to use it as a tinted base and wear it alone. But if you're just wearing it as a primer, you really don't need to build it up. But this one glides on the skin really well. And it does feel a little bit silkier or slippier than the Glow Lust. It definitely adds a little bit more glow as well. And that's not just from the pearlized finish, but from the actual formula. This one definitely feels more like a skincare product. It doesn't truly blur any lines that I can see. It's not blurring my pores, but it moisturized my skin. I definitely feel more hydrated, and I can almost feel that oily texture as well. So here you have it, bare skin versus the Charlotte Tilbury shade in Tan. All right, next up we have the e.l.f. Cosmetics Halo Glow Liquid Filter, the dupe to dupe them all. This retails for $14 and contains a net weight of 1.06 fluid ounce or 31.5 milliliters, and they have recently expanded the shade range, so it is now available in 12 shades. You can purchase this online at elfcosmetics.com. You can also find it at Ulta online in store, at Target, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or any drugstore that carries e.l.f. Cosmetics. And this one says it's a multi-purpose liquid glow booster that gives your complexion a soft focus social filter effect in real life. Glowy makeup and skincare hybrid for dewy skin. Complexion looks healthy and more radiant. Liquid filter can be worn 4 ways: alone, over or under makeup, mixed with foundation, or as a highlighter. It also goes on to say the unique formula enhances the overall look of skin while imparting a soft focus radiance. It is great for dry, oily, or combination skin. So this one also has a doe foot applicator. It is actually the largest applicator of all of the products. So we're gonna go ahead and swipe it on my face. And this shade is number 5 medium, which is described as tan warm. Again, let's blend it out with the brush. This one is a thicker foundation type liquid as well. It is not as thin as the Charlotte Tilbury, but not as thick as the Auric Glow Lust. I feel like it's a happy medium, and it does feel like skincare. It definitely has more of a slip, and you see more of a shine on the skin. And for this one, I can see the pearlized finish within the glass bottle. It's definitely glowy, it's shiny, but it doesn't translate as metallic on the skin. So don't be too afraid. This looks great. I'm telling you right now, e.l.f. Cosmetics definitely hit it out the park. It's given a glow for sure. If you're into this dewy, shiny finish, then this is going to be great for you. I'm going to keep building it up because it feels nice on the skin. It feels hydrating, and like I said, it's a thinner product, but it's not too runny at all. I would not wear this alone because it does accentuate my pores just a bit, but it's a great glowy product. So here you have the e.l.f. Cosmetics Halo Glow Liquid Filter in shade number 5, which is Tan Warm. And then last up, but definitely not least, is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster. This retails for $25 and contains 1 fluid ounce of product or 30 milliliters, and it is available in 13 shades. And you can pick this one up online through juviasplace.com, or you can find it in store or online at Ulta. And this one says, Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster is a visionary product with outstanding highlighting features infused into a low coverage and perfected tinted formula. Formulated in 13 shades, this product is your go-to for flawless and radiant skin. The lightweight formula keeps your skin hydrated and gives you the perfect glow for every day. This formula blurs, smooths, and illuminates for a real-life radiance and glowy filter effect. So for this one, I picked up shade number 5, which is Punta Cana, and it is just described as tan. So let's go ahead and apply this with the doe foot applicator. And this one definitely is more of a complexion shade. It almost blends in like a tinted product instead of a highlighter for me. And it has a thicker or more viscous consistency. It has a similar viscosity to the Auric Glow Lust. It just glides a little bit better. It is definitely thicker than the Charlotte Tilbury and also the e.l.f. And it glides really well. It feels like skincare again. Feels like a complexion product also. And the shade is kind of my perfect match. And the Juvia's Place shades align with some of the shades from their foundation products. So if you know your shade match there, which mine is typically Punta Cana, then you can just grab the shade that aligns with your complexion product. And you can definitely wear this as just a skin tint. It is giving me glow and radiance. It feels like skincare, like I said. My skin feels hydrated and it looks that way. No discernible shimmer or glitter. And it has more of a warm lean-in olive undertone. So here you have it. This is Juvia's Place number 5, Punta Cana. All right, now that you have heard all about these products individually, how about we go ahead and match them up against each other? Starting off with swatches. So I'm going to swatch all 5 of these shades out on my arm so you can see the nuances to the undertones. And the shades I picked up suit my skin pretty well, and I fall in the tan and medium tan range. So there are deeper shades available as well as lighter shades. So you would go ahead and pick the shade that best suits you. But I'm showing you the shades I selected and how they match up on my skin tone. So starting off with Auric Cosmetics and their Glow Lust, there are 2 shades that I picked up as I mentioned before. We have Sunstone and Citrine. Sunstone is more of a medium neutral shade. It definitely has more of a champagne sheen on my skin. It looks a little bit more icy, a little bit more on the silver tone side. So if you wanted something that's definitely going to be reflective on your skin, I would go for this shade. I also picked up Citrine, which is my preferred shade out of the range. This one is a medium warm shade, so it has more of a warm golden undertone and it blends in beautifully with my skin. Next up, alphabetically, we have the OG Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in shade number 6, Tan. This one is a great skin tone shade. It leans a little bit more on the neutral side, but there's some warmth to it as well, so it works beautifully on my skin tone. And there are a couple of shades that are deeper than my skin tone, and again, they're lighter shades, but this shade range doesn't really get into deep, rich skin tones, which is a drawback compared to the other brands. Next up, we have the dupe of them all, e.l.f. Cosmetics, who was not hiding their hands at all. They're definitely duping the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. So this is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Halo Glow Liquid Filter in shade number 5, which is Tan. This one is again a skin tone match for me, but it has more pearlescence to it. It's not necessarily neutral lean-in, it has more of a warm undertone, but because of the pearlized finish, it can look more shiny on my skin, and it seems to lean a little bit more silvery on my skin, or champagne, rather than a true golden tan. And then rounding out the lot, we have the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster. I also picked up shade number 5 in this, which is Punta Cana. The shade range from Juvia's Place is definitely more in line with true complexion products such as foundations. They match the skin really well, and shade number 5 is spot on for my skin tone. It's a warm undertone, but it doesn't lean too golden or too orange. It blends in with my skin really well. It's a beautiful natural tan shade, and I absolutely love it on my skin tone. And let's go ahead and show you all 5 shades swatched on my cheeks so you can get a better idea of what these look like against my skin tone. And you can see, again, the different nuances. You can see which ones lean a little bit more pearlized, a little bit more on the champagne side, which are definitely the e.l.f. and the Auric Cosmetics in Sunstone. And then we have the warmer shades, which are Citrine from Auric Cosmetics and the Juvia's Place shade. And then the Hollywood Flawless Filter is kind of a neutral in-between shade. And with all those swatches out of the way, let's get this beauty battle going. So starting off with the price point. I don't think I need to really tell you which one is the most expensive of the range. We have Charlotte Tilbury coming in at the most expensive. This one again is $49, and it only contains 1 fluid ounce of product, or 30 milliliters. And I say only because 2 of the brands have more products for a cheaper price point. But let's be honest, Charlotte Tilbury is the high-end brand in this range. So of course, they're gonna have the highest price point. Charlotte Tilbury, though, does have a mini version available for $19. So if you just wanted to try it out, it's a very small size though. It's travel friendly, but it's tiny. It's only 0.18 ounce or 5.5 milliliters. That's not a lot of product for that price point. But if you just wanted to test it out, I think that $19 price point is a little bit easier to swallow. Next up is Auric Cosmetics. The Glow Lust is $46.50. Not that much cheaper than Charlotte Tilbury at all. It's an indie brand, so you expect a higher price point, but still, that's a high price point, especially when you have to purchase this online only. You can't swatch it in store, so you're kind of taking a gamble here, but you can get this online at Auric Cosmetics or through Beautylish. They have great shipping, so Beautylish may be the way to go for this. And there's also a travel size with the Auric Cosmetics, so you can get half an ounce for $28, which may be the better way to go, because I don't think that you're gonna run through this product that quickly. Then third on the list, of course, is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster, which is $25 for 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters, same sizing as the Charlotte Tilbury product, which again, I don't think you need that much product, because if you're comparing it to like a foundation, this is the standard size for a foundation. This price point though took me by surprise. I expected it to be slightly cheaper, but it is what it is. The good thing though about Juvia's Place is that it is available at Ulta, and you can use that $3.50 off $15 coupon to get this at a cheaper price point. So you can technically get this for $21.50 using that coupon. And Juvia's Place has sales all the time. Like as I'm filming, they have a 40% off coupon on their website. And then of course, the cheapest option on this list is going to be from e.l.f. Cosmetics at $14. And this contains 1.06 fluid ounce or 31.5 milliliters, which is slightly more product than Charlotte Tilbury and Juvia's Place. It's less product than the Auric Glow Lust, but really, do you need that much product? I don't think so. So price point wise, e.l.f. Cosmetics is gonna be your best bet. It has the lowest price point and it has a decent amount of product. Charlotte Tilbury is gonna be the most expensive, of course, but you can get a mini size if you just wanted to try it out, with Auric being second on the list. But again, you can get a mini size if you just wanted to try it out. The mini size is more expensive though from Auric versus Charlotte Tilbury, but Charlotte Tilbury you get less product. Auric I think is a better value for money because you get half an ounce for $28. So it depends on how you feel about those price points. Juvia's Place is kind of hanging out in a comfortable price point at $25. Again, you can use coupons to purchase it. Let's talk about the packaging because that comes into play as well. All of these come in a glass bottle, which is great. I love seeing complexion products in glass bottles. but all of them are slightly different. The Auric Glow Lust, beautifully packaged, I must say, really well done by Samantha. We have the Auric Cosmetics logo and product name on the front. On the back, we have a clear label with the shade name and manufacturer information. This is made in Italy, by the way, in case you were curious. This has a black and gold cap. Beautiful detail. I love this. And this one has a pump packaging similar to a foundation. You can control how much product you get using a pump, so you can go for a little bit more or a little bit less. And this one has an intended usage life of 12 months. Then we have, of course, the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. This is also a glass bottle, product information and logo on the front. We have a label on the bottom though with the shade number. This product is also made in Italy. We have a gold cap with lenticular lines, and this one features a doe foot applicator, which size-wise is the smallest of all three. This will allow you to apply the product precisely if you're using it for spot highlighting, for instance. But if you intend to use it all over the face, it gets a little bit tedious to keep re-dipping because the applicator does not pull out a lot of product at once. So you're gonna be re-dipping quite a bit with this applicator. This one has an intended usage life of 12 months. And then we have the e.l.f. Cosmetics bottle, which has a millennial pink cap, white writing on the front and the back. We have all the product details on this packaging, unlike with the others that have a box with all the information. This one contains all the details on the bottle itself. On the bottom, we have a label with the shade name, and this one was made in China. It has an intended usage life of 6 months. We also have a doe foot applicator. This is the largest one of the 3 doe foot applicators that we have. And this will allow you to apply this all over your face. Just go to town. But I feel like because it is still a doe foot applicator, it's still sized appropriately for spot highlighting. So I think this one is the most versatile of the applicators because you can get a lot done in one go, and you can also use it for spot highlighting, so you're not re-dipping as much. And then it has a little reservoir, a little dip in the doe foot that holds onto product. So I really like the applicator from e.l.f. And then we have the Juvia's Place bottle. This one has the Juvia's Place logo on the side. On the bottom we have a label with the shade number, and we have this beautiful skin tone cap, which is different per bottle. And we, of course, have another doe foot applicator. This one is a medium-sized applicator, but I prefer this over the Charlotte Tilbury because it has the little reservoir that holds onto product again. So you can get more product each time you re-dip. You can use it all over the face, again, for spot highlighting, but you don't have to re-dip as much as you would with the Charlotte Tilbury option. This one was made in Italy and has an intended usage life of 12 months. So for me, packaging is going to be left up to personal preference. I can go either way. Pump packaging, I'm used to because all my foundations have a pump packaging, but I also like a doe foot applicator because I can apply it directly on my skin. Some people don't like that though because they think they're gonna contaminate the product, which has preservatives. You're fine, don't worry about it. But I can go either way because with a doe foot applicator, I don't have to apply it directly to my skin. I can deposit it on a palette and then apply it with a brush or with my fingers. My preferred doe foot applicator would probably be the e.l.f. Cosmetics one because it's larger, so I don't have to re-dip as much. That's just me. The most aesthetically pleasing to me is between the Juvia's Place and the Auric Glow Lust because, I mean, come on, they're stunning. But for convenience, I really like the Juvia's Place because it's sleek. I can travel with this. The Auric is a little bit thicker, a little bit bulkier, but it's up to you. What is your preference? And if you get a mini, that's more travel friendly as well. Packaging, I don't have a true winner here. I just prefer the Juvia's Place because that's what I like. So like I just mentioned, Auric Cosmetics, Charlotte Tilbury, and Juvia's Place are all made in Italy, which is interesting because they're gonna be select factories in Italy that can make this product, and maybe they're being produced in the same ones. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I'm just speculating. And then the e.l.f. Cosmetics is the only one that is made in China. And as far as the usage life goes, again, All three of the ones that are made in Italy, so Auric, Charlotte Tilbury, and Juvia's Place, have a 12-month usage life, but e.l.f. Cosmetics only has a 6-month usage life. Very interesting again. Now let's tackle the shade ranges and the availability and accessibility of these formulations. Starting off with Auric. Auric has 8 shades available. They have shades for fairer skin tones down to what they call a deep. Their deep neutral product can work on deeper, richer skin tones, I will say, but the shades don't go ultra rich or ultra deep, and there aren't a lot of variations. However, this is kind of a primer product. It's thinner, so it's not a complexion product, and the shades are gonna be a little bit more flexible. I fall in the medium range, so I think they did a pretty decent job when it comes to their shade range. And they do have one of the lightest shades available, Morganite, for really fair and really pale skin. So I think Auric did a good job for fair skin tones and an okay job for rich and deeper skin tones. As for Juvia's Place, they have 13 shades available. They have the most shades in the range, and their shades match up against their complexion products, and I think they did also a pretty decent job with the shade range. They have shades for very light skin tones and deeper, richer skin tones. Now, do they go ultra deep? No, they don't. But again, these shades are meant to be more flexible. They're a thinner primer type level product, so they're meant to add glow. They're not meant to add coverage. So I think, again, Juvia's Place did a really good job, and I think they win out in the tan and medium tan range. They'd have a great selection of undertones and different variations that you can choose from. So I really like what Juvia's Place did here with their 13 shades. Now, Charlotte Tilbury, the OG, has 12 shades. They've expanded from their original limited shade range, and they've included a shade for deeper, richer skin tones. And again, this is meant to be a glow booster product. So it's not a complexion product. You don't have to match your skin tone exactly. These are gonna be flexible shades, and this is a thinner formula that doesn't have as much pigmentation. So the deeper shade will work on richer skin tones, but I feel like they didn't do as well with their shade range. They do have lighter shades, but I don't even feel like they go as light for fair skin, and they don't go as rich for deeper skin. But again, flexible, more versatile shades. So you can probably find a shade that works for you, and my shade is number 6, and they have 3 more shades after me. So they didn't do the best, but they didn't do the worst as far as shade ranges go. And then we have e.l.f. Cosmetics, which has 12 shades available. They expanded their shade range, and I think they're doing the best right now as far as giving you diversity, because we have really fair shades for light skin tones, and they have a cool versus a neutral warm, and then they go rich where they have a cool undertone and then a neutral warm undertone. They also have tan deep and deep rich with cool and warm undertones, and I fall smack in the middle with my medium tan shade, and it works out really great for me. And there are 4 more shades deeper than me, and I feel like that's a great variety. And again, they have those fair shades with various undertones. So out of all 4 formulations, yes, Juvia's Place has the most shade selection, but I feel like e.l.f. has the most diversity with undertones and depth levels. So if you can't find your shade in any of the other formulations, I feel like e.l.f. is where it's at. And at that price point, you can select multiples if you wanted to and mix and match as needed. And then following up, second place is probably going to be the Juvia's Place, again with the 13 shades, various undertones as well. And they have a little bit more in the deep and tan range. And then I would say Auric and Charlotte Tilbury are kind of neck and neck, okay? They have an okay shade range. They have a shade for deeper, richer skin. They have different undertones, but both of them can do a little bit better. For Auric Cosmetics, I'm a little bit more lenient because they're an indie brand. They're up and coming, but you know, they can do better. And Charlotte Tilbury, hello, what are you doing? You have so much money, expand the shade range, stop it. But I've come to expect this from Charlotte Tilbury, so you know, but e.l.f. wins out with selection here, followed by Juvia's Place. But now let's talk about the actual product and the performance, which I'm going to divide in various sections. Starting off with the ingredients. All right, I have a whole graphic here to show you guys because I populated a spreadsheet with all the ingredients and I compared them up against each other to see which ones are the most comparable? Like, what is the real difference here in formula? Is one really truly better than the other? And I have some interesting finds. So let's pop it up so you can follow along. So the ingredients that are the same across the board for all formulations are in yellow. So water is the main ingredient, followed by hydrogenated dietacine. Water is used as a solvent, and hydrogenated dietacine is meant to form a film over the skin surface so it doesn't allow water to evaporate. It also protects the skin from pollutants and conditions the skin. So it's a great ingredient to have in complexion products. We then have squalene, which is used again across the board, as well as glycerin. Both of these ingredients are hydrating ingredients. Glycerin is an emollient and it's also a humectant, which means it pulls moisture to the skin. And squalene is a well-revered skincare ingredient that softens and smooths the skin. Then we have two ingredients that are technically the same type of ingredient. They will give you the same result. It's just a different version of the ingredient. So first up is mica, which is a shimmer ingredient. That's the ingredient that's going to add the glow to the product. It's pearlized. It's going to give that beautiful finish. So it is the same in the Juvia's Place, Charlotte Tilbury, and Auric. But from e.l.f, they use synthetic fluoroflogopide. This one is the synthetic version of mica, which I almost feel like is not as refined. You can get really refined versions of mica, which is probably what Charlotte Tilbury is using. Again, they can afford higher quality ingredients. So perhaps that's a difference for you. And then we have propanediol, again, in Juvia's Place, Charlotte Tilbury, and Auric. But for e.l.f, they use propylene glycol, which is the same ingredient somewhat. Propanediol is a synthetic version, which is deemed to be a little bit safer than straight up propylene glycol. So if you wanted a safer ingredient, quote unquote, then you would go with propanediol. But this ingredient is a solvent again, so it helps with the combination of all the ingredients and keep it stable. It's also a emollient and humectant. It also helps to boost the efficacy of preservatives. So again, remember, these are liquid products. We want a decent shelf life. So that may be a bit of a difference between the 6-month shelf life and a 12-month shelf life. We also then have dimethicone, which is cethylpeg ppg-10 dimethicone. That ingredient, that one helps to emulsify the formula again to make sure it's a more stable formula. It helps to condition the skin as well. And it's also a surfactant, which means it will help with the spreadability and the feel, like the texture of the product, which you'll see in a lot of complexion products. You'll see dimethicone. And the great thing after going through all of these ingredient lists is that none of these formulations have a fragrance or a perfume. And that is great to see when it comes to complexion products. Most people don't want to see a fragrance in their complexion products as it can be an irritant. So I'm happy to say none of these products are fragranced. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with the ingredients, okay? I just wanted to compare them to see which ones are the most comparable since we're talking dupes, right? And the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster actually has the most similar ingredient list to Charlotte Tilbury. And Charlotte Tilbury, believe it or not, has less ingredients than the e.l.f. and the Auric Cosmetics. And I feel like if you're looking for the most comparable, it would be the Juvia's Place and the Charlotte Tilbury. Now, I don't know, again, about the quality of the ingredients, the quantities that they're using, the formulation altogether, but the most similar, again, would be those two. And then Auric and e.l.f. are similar to the Charlotte Tilbury one. It has a lot of crossover ingredients, but e.l.f. is obviously using variations of the ingredients that may not be of the highest quality, hence they can have that lower price point. I will say, though, e.l.f. has the least comparable ingredient list because of the other three, there are a ton of crossover ingredients. Again, with Juvia's Place and Charlotte Tilbury being the closest. And one of the key ingredients that is touted in the Charlotte Tilbury formula is that porcelain flower extract, which is really the Hoya lacunosa flower extract. It's found in Juvia's Place, Charlotte Tilbury, and Auric Glowless. So if you were really eyeing that key ingredient, those three have them. And then we also have some skincare ingredients mixed in, some moisturizing ingredients. So these formulas are definitely going to be skincare heavy. They're definitely going to moisturize and hydrate the skin and give you a skincare complexion product hybrid versus just a simple complexion product, which I actually appreciate. So when you compare these up against each other, again, Charlotte Tilbury and Juvia's Place are the most closely matched, with Auric Glowless coming up a close third, but there's some added skincare ingredients and surfactants that are included. And there's some key ingredients that aren't included in the Auric Glowless formulation. Not a big deal, it's still a beautiful formula, but it's gonna give you a different result. And then e.l.f. Cosmetics, it obviously shows that they tried to duplicate the formula, just doing it a little bit cheaper, and they added some cheaper versions of certain ingredients in their playbooks. But overall, I think that all four of them will give you that skincare hybrid feel on the skin. It's just some are gonna do it better than others, and I think the definite winners are Charlotte Tilbury and Juvia's Place. They knock it out the park, but Auric also does a really good job. e.l.f. is just doing it on the cheap. Now let's talk about the texture and the finish of all of these. And again, this is going to be based on personal preference. My number one, just based on my preference, is gonna be Juvia's Place because it has a more skin-like finish. I could definitely feel comfortable wearing this alone. It's going to add a glow, but it's not too heavy. It doesn't feel too dewy or greasy. It glides well on the skin. It is a thicker, creamy liquid, so it's not runny at all. It does give beautiful coverage, and I feel like there's a little bit more opacity to it, which is why I can wear it as a tinted product, or I can combine it with my foundation as either a base layer or on top as a highlighter. That's just my favorite one. It feels great on the skin. It glides really well. I really like Juvia's Place. Followed up by Auric Cosmetics. I feel like Auric also has a thicker texture, and the shade Citrine for me works really well as an all-over product. There's not as much coverage. I wouldn't necessarily wear this alone, but it feels lightweight on the skin, and I can definitely layer it with other complexion products. And I feel like it does blend in well with foundations, and it also applies beautifully on top of it if you're using it as a highlighter, because again, it's not too thick. Then I would have to go with Charlotte Tilbury. It's a thinner formula, so as far as viscosity goes, I feel like Auric is a little thicker than all of them, with Juvia's Place as a close second. It's still thick, but not as thick as Auric. And then we have Charlotte Tilbury, which is a little thinner. It definitely feels more lightweight. It feels more like a primer. It feels more like a prep step than a complexion product, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it's up to you. Again, what's the vibe that you're going for? This one I wouldn't, again, wear on its own. It's a little bit too glowy for me. I don't love to be too shiny, but it doesn't feel greasy, and none of these feel greasy. I must say that right out the gate, none of them feel greasy. I think they struck a good balance between the oils that are included and the skincare ingredients, so these feel lightweight on the skin. The Charlotte Tilbury, though, is the lightest feeling one. It feels almost like nothing on the skin. The other ones, you can definitely feel them a little bit more, but not to say that they're heavy, you just feel them a little bit more, with the Charlotte Tilbury being the most lightweight. The e.l.f. Cosmetics one is also a little bit lightweight as well. It's lighter than the Auric and the Juvia's Place. It's thinner as well. It feels a little thinner on the skin when you're applying it. And that one has the most glow to it for me, and that could just be based on the shade that I picked up. But again, all the shades are kind of matching my skin tone, so there's no real alternative for me. I do have to use this shade, and it's just a little bit too shiny for me. I wouldn't use it on its own at all. That one I would not wear on its own. It strictly would be a highlighting product, either as a base to make my skin more glowy before my foundation, or as a spot highlighter. But if you were looking for more glow, if you're looking for more shine, I definitely think you're gonna get it from the e.l.f. Cosmetics one. That's gonna give you the most glow. And the Auric, depending on the shade you pick up, will also give you a ton of glow. So if you get Sunstone, you're gonna get some shine from that because it's more on the champagne side. I feel like Juvia's Place and Charlotte Tilbury are the more natural looking of the set, with Juvia's Place being the most natural. Charlotte Tilbury actually does a really good job of looking like a glow enhancer rather than like a true highlighter. e.l.f. Cosmetics is more of a true liquid highlighter if that's what you wanted from this product. And remember, they're multifunctional products. So what is your true desire here? What are you looking for from these products? Because that will help you to choose which one you go for. If you want a product that you can wear on its own or as a base for a little added glow, Juvia's place. If you want a touch more glow, you don't necessarily wear it on its own, then Charlotte Tilbury. If you want a mix of both, where you can kind of wear it on its own depending on what shade you pick up, but you can also use it as a highlighter or as a mix-in, then Auric Cosmetics. If you want something that's really a highlighter that's going to give you a lot of glow, then you would go for e.l.f. Cosmetics. As far as wear goes, all of them wear how I would expect any of these products to wear. They're glowy on my oily skin. They're going to look glowy on my oily skin no matter what. They start out glowy, so what am I gonna do, right? But I think all of them across the board mix well with foundations. They lay well under foundations, and they also mix in well with foundation because the formulations are actually more in tune with complexion products, foundation products, concealers. They are gonna jive well because the ingredient list, the ingredient deck, has a lot of crossover ingredients with complexion products. So again, they mix and merge well with foundations. I wouldn't necessarily mix them in with skincare. I would use them on their own because they do have enough skincare ingredients in them that you don't need to mix them in with skincare. Don't even do that. Unless you have really dry skin, which I can't speak to that because I have oily skin, but if you have oily skin, just use this as your skincare. You're good because there are great skincare ingredients included in them, all right? And like I said, as far as longevity goes, they last about the same across the board. None is better than the other. The one with the least glow and the one that makes me least shiny is the Juvia's Place one. Everything else is just shiny from the jump, so there you have it. I gave you as many details as I could in this video so you can make a choice based on your preference. Now, do I need to tell you what my favorite is, or have you already guessed it? It's gonna be Juvia's Place. My number one is Juvia's Place. I love the shade range. The price point, even though it's a little bit steeper, you can always get it on sale. You can always get it at a discount. So it's closer to that $20 price point. You get a decent amount of product, which I don't think you need more. I love the packaging. The doe foot applicator actually works for me with ease of use. I love the texture of it. I love how it feels on my skin. It wears the best. It looks the best. I really love it. Followed up by it's kind of a tie between the Auric Glow Lust and the Charlotte Tilbury. I don't know, like the price points are very similar. The shade ranges are very similar as well. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit more accessible and it's a little bit more in line with what I'm going for. If I'm going for a glowy product, I can just use it as a lightweight product because it feels lighter than the Auric one. But I also do like the Auric one, so I don't know how to feel. The Auric one is definitely a great texture. It feels good on the skin and it's a little bit thicker again than all the other formulations. It feels good, it looks good, and if you wanted to test it out, I don't think you can go wrong, but I feel like they're kind of neck and neck, Charlotte Tilbury and the Auric, right? And then bottom of my list is going to be e.l.f. Cosmetics. And I expected that. Honestly, truly, the ingredient deck on this, it's a little bit more cheaply made. The quality is not necessarily the best. It has the shortest shelf life. It's the most glowy. It's the shiniest. And I don't love the feel of it because it just feels a little bit too glowy, a little bit too, how should I say it? It's not as refined as the other formulations, but it does achieve the same thing pretty much. It's gonna give you a glow. Is it the glow that you want though? Is that the level of shine you want to deal with, or do you want something a little bit more natural from the Juvia's Place? So overall, that would be my ranking. Again, a lot of this is based on personal preference, so you make your choices based on how you feel about these products and what at the end of the day you're seeking to achieve. Are you going to wear this on its own, or is it just going to be a primer for added glow? Don't expect any blurring from any of these products. There was no blurring, no smoothing, none of that. It just added a glow to my skin, all right? My pores were not happy with any of these products. So none of them edge the others out in that way. But I feel like all of them feel pretty good on the skin. And like I said, Juvia's Place is kind of competing very closely with Charlotte Tilbury with that ingredient deck. So Juvia's Place wins for me. Let me know what you guys think. Have you tried these out? What is your favorite? Are you interested in trying any of these out? Has my video helped you in any way to kind of navigate what is going on out there with all these glow radiance boosters? Oh my god. And there are more out there, so I didn't even scratch the surface because drugstore brands are coming in hot and heavy, okay? They have a lot out there, and I don't have the energy to try them all. But let me know what you think of this video in the comments down below. I will leave links on where you can pick all these products up down below in the description box. Those links will all be affiliate links, as are my YouTube shopping links. That means I will get a small sales commission if you make a purchase through any of those links. It's a great way to show you support for the channel because it doesn't change the sale price, but it gives me a kickback so I can put right back into the channel. So I appreciate your support. I also have YouTube thanks and YouTube memberships, which act like a tip jar. So if you feel so inclined, please go ahead and contribute to the channel that way. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.